What is happening, everybody? Welcome to the Other Channel, a Games and Graps podcast. My name is Sonny G, and I'm here with Steve.
Good evening.
And what this is basically the opposite of Nitrous Radio. So, obviously, on Nitrous Radio, I've been covering WCW from 1996, and on there, they refer to WWF as the Other Channel. So, what we decided to do is cover the Other Channel as well. So we're starting from January the 1st, 1996, WWF Raw, and boy, I thought Nitro was something else. This, oh my God. Honestly, I can see why Nitro were panning WWF in the ratings at this point. I mean, this is like nothing that I've never seen this. So I was not watching wrestling at this point, and I'm sure you weren't either, Steve.
No, I was obviously aware of WWF at the time. But I didn't watch it. In fact, I can now see why my mum was like, "You are not watching that crap." I now get it. I owe her a big apology because if my kids were watching that now, they'd be banned from watching it.
Yeah, if you think Raw's bad now, go back and watch this show. So this was the Raw Bowl. Oh my God! Honestly, it's mental. It is. The fucking Raw Bowl. The amount of terrible, American football references during the course of this entire Raw episode is mental.
You had Earl Hebner dressed as a referee for an American football referee. With the socks, and he had the yellow flag and the hat and everything. Like you say, just terrible puns and American football references throughout the entire show. I mean, we'll get to it later, but that halftime bit.
Oh, with Dandy Doc Hendricks.
Yeah,
awesome. Jumbo Jim. Jumbo Jim. Oh, right. So, I mean, honestly, this is crazy. I can see why I probably stopped watching wrestling around this time. So, I was watching from, the back end of the 80s all the way through. And I explained this on the Nitro pod as well, that I basically stopped watching around 95, 96, and then got back into it, back end of 97, going into 98, which thankfully was a much better time. So, so Raw starts, right? And Vince is going ballistic from the off. That's the stepdaddy, the Mac Daddy. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
It's just sounds like the ramblings of a madman, a lunatic.
It does.
He's just going off on one.
Insane. They've got like a brass band playing in the stands.
Yeah.
So obviously they're classing this as someone sat there and thought of this. Vince thought, what would be a good idea? There's the Super Bowl coming soon. We should copy it.
It is so bad. It is so bad.
Yeah. So, there's so much to come on the show. Nacho Man. Yep.
Nacho Man.
Huckster, yep. Scheme Gene. Scheme Gene. All that stuff is so fucking amazing, and I can't wait to cover that in a bit. But did you notice when the nameplates came up for Vince and Jerry Lawler that they had different names?
I didn't notice that, no.
So Vince's said Vin McMahon, and the Kings said Jerry Musburger King.
Oh, I noticed that Musburger. I noticed that. I didn't notice the Vin McMahon.
Yeah, so obviously that must be like a call to NFL commentators at the time, I'm guessing.
More than likely, because that was the theme of the whole night, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. Like I've written down here, there's a huge difference between this and Nitro already.
Right. Yeah.
Like Nitro felt like the first episode of Nitro from '96, and I've been critical of the main event stuff on Nitro because it is Hogan and Macho Man and stuff like that. Whereas the lower and mid card stuff is really, really good, and there's some great wrestling on there.
Yeah.
I can't really say the same for this, to be fair.
No.
So the first match on the show was for the Raw Bowl. And it was a tag team match between 4 teams. And here we go. So we had the current tag team champions, the Smoking Guns, Razor Ramon, and Vince called him his free agent, Savio Vega. I mean, this was all the American football puns. Sid and the 1-2-3 Kid, and Yokozuna and Owen Hart. As you can see by the picture, if you're watching the video version of this, they're all wearing American football gear with different numbers on that mean absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah, they all say Raw Bowl on the front as well.
Yeah. I mean, and you texted me earlier on before I'd watched this, and you were like, the tag team match at the beginning is a total clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's just even from like them coming out to the ring, there was just so many, like there was just so much going on.
Yeah, and things were such nonsense as well.
Yeah,
like complete and utter nonsense.
I mean, Goldust was there for some. I didn't get why he was just there, just weirding it up in the background. Yeah, I guess he was in some sort of rivalry, was he?
Yeah, with Razor Ramon. This is from what I grasp, because he had his. So they called him Goldust's usher, and he came down with like a box of roses to give to Razor Ramon. Then Razor Ramon like pushed this guy over. There was golden roses in the box, and then Goldust is there blowing a kiss to Razor Ramon.
So this is why it was just carnage, because they're coming out, and yeah, you've got someone handing roses. Razor Ramon just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Savio's just there like, what's going on?
Yeah, I like that the Smoking Guns come running through the paper thing as well, but then everyone else has to walk through the hole that they'd left.
Yeah, they run through the paper thing like an American football match, and that was cool. And it was cool that they got to do that as champions as well. I quite like that.
Yeah. Do you think thought actually went into that, though? Do you think that was the thought process behind it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No. You're the champions. You run through the paper thing. That everyone else just has to walk through the hole that you've left.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so this is match 1. This is for the Raw Bowl. And also, teams get 1 timeout.
Yeah.
What?
Which we will later find out mean absolutely nothing.
Less than nothing. Like there's several times. So fucking stupid.
And there was times where they should have called times out or timeout and didn't.
Yeah.
I.e., someone's just hit their finisher. Your man's about to be pinned. Why don't you quickly call a timeout? No, just stand there.
Yeah, it's just stand and watch it happen.
Just stand and watch it happen.
Get eliminated.
Yeah.
So Owen Hart and Bart Gunn start the match. Bart Gunn is a better wrestler than he ever was a boxer. Owen tags in Billy Gunn because that was the thing. You can tag in anyone from any team, and they can't tag back out until they've gotten physical.
Make contact.
And you would think all you would have to do here is just tap the person. If your partner comes in, you've got to fight him. You would think all you'd have to do is just tap them. That's physical contact, right?
Yeah, a little fist bump, maybe a high five, and then it's like, right, I've touched them. I'm going to tag someone else in, so I don't have to then wrestle against my tag partner.
Yeah, but this logic in 1996 doesn't exist. So Bart and Billy Gunn, they go full collar and elbow tie up.
Yeah, collar and elbow. They start running the ropes, going through the motions down to the ground, the jump up through the legs and all of that. Before that though, when it started off as it was Bart and Owen Hart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that started. Did you notice that they both started in the corners down on the ground like they do in
Oh, you
American
know what? I
football
didn't
games?
notice that, but
Yeah, they started off like down in the ground. You know, like when they get into position in America. You'll have to excuse as British, we're not overly into our American football.
hut.
Yeah, that. When they were in that position. Hut, and then they charged at each other and collar and elbow. But that was again a nice sort of reference. That one of the better references throughout the night, I would say, to sort of kind of American football. But
there wasn't many good ones.
No, there wasn't. No, and you had Billy and Bart going through the motions, running the ropes, doing the lot.
So unnecessary as well.
And then they realised, oh, we've run into each other. We've now made contact.
Yeah.
And then
they double tagged in Owen and Yokozuna.
Owen and Yokozuna
had to fight each other, and
they did.
And they did as well. Like Yokozuna goes full on. Like Owen Hart jumps over Yokozuna and slides under his legs and all that sort of stuff. And then Yokozuna just barges him down.
And at that point, tag someone else in.
Yeah, but also, just at that point, Owen Hart, Yoko literally tries to murder Owen Hart with 2 massive clotheslines prior to getting taken down with the shoulder tackle.
Yeah.
So they're not even. They're like, oh, we've legit got to fight each other here. Let's do it.
One of the other things that I don't know whether this was, I think this was during the entrances. So apologies, I've jumped back a bit here. You had Brother Love just talking to himself in the back.
Yeah, this happens loads.
Talking all over the and the comms are just talking over him.
Yeah,
it's not like they stop and go, "Oh, Brother Love's in the back. I wonder what he's got to say."
Yeah, Vince looks a little bit like this.
You've got it happened during the match as well, and they're like, "Oh, Brother Love's in there. Open your eyes." He's giving some sort of speech but the comms are just talking all over him. You haven't got a clue what he's saying.
Yeah, and you literally can't hear a word that he's saying.
No, it's carnage. It's full on carnage. It is
absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so I mean, the match was a total clusterfuck. Yokozuna is massive at this point as well. By the way, I think they said he was like 625 pounds or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how.
Well, I mean,
we know it's inflated, especially in the 90s. Definitely inflated.
Oh God, definitely.
He was pretty big, but he could move.
He could move. Yeah. So he was great. I used to love Yokozuna.
Yeah.
So finally, after Yokozuna and Owen Hart realized that they didn't actually have to fight each other, Owen tags in Savio Vega, who comes in against Yokozuna. Who then tags in 1-2-3 Kid after putting Savio Vega down. And it cuts the gold dust watching this match from the press box. But surely you would wait until Razor Ramon is in the ring before you do this.
You'd have thought so.
Yeah, you would have thought so.
Production's come a long way in WWFE, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It got to a
definitely.
point in the match also where the King had binoculars and he's sitting next to Miss Raw.
Yeah, was it Miss Raw or Miss Rose? She was Miss Raw, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Raw Bowl. Look at his face.
Emma, wasn't it her name?
I don't know.
But yes, he had binoculars ringside.
Yeah, ringside. Just sitting ringside. Oh, good God. Right. There was a cool bit in the match, actually, that I enjoyed where Psycho Sid and Bart Gunn are in the match. And Bart Gunn takes Sid down with a massive clothesline and then a hanging vertical suplex, which I thought was really good.
Yes, that was good. I enjoyed that myself.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the canvas looked like it had absolutely no give whatsoever.
I did notice that. I did. It looked stiff.
Oh, it looked super. It looked like they were just slapping pure wood.
Yeah. There's a soundbite for you. It was one of the things I did notice. Yeah, that they were slapping pure wood.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, I've written loads of details down about this match, so unnecessarily, because it was all just all over the place.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of referee distraction as well. You had at one point you had Earl Hebner was trying to when they throw the yellow flag for a foul in NFL, he did that, but then his microphone didn't work because you can hear the mics in the NFL, but that didn't work. And then at one point I think it fed back as well, which was obviously fantastic.
Really good, yeah.
just an absolute mess.
Yeah, so we're coming up to the first elimination. So 1, 2, 3 kid calls a timeout and it's ignored.
Yes.
Okay, Razor hits a fall-away slam on him. Then 1, 2, 3 kid once again calls for a timeout. This time it's granted, but Razor Ramon ignores it and hits him with a Razor's Edge anyway. Still goes for a pin. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Like, Razor didn't get the memo.
No.
So if we're going by the rules here, surely Razor Ramon's disqualified.
You would think so.
But instead he goes for a pin. Anyway. Then Hebner gets distracted by DiBiase at ringside.
Yes.
Sid, for some reason, tags himself in, even though he doesn't need to, because they're just causing a distraction anyway. He runs off the ropes, wallops Razor from behind.
Yep.
Then, even though Sid has tagged himself in, he dragged 1, 2, 3 kid over Razor, and
for the pin.
That's it. Yeah, Sid and 1, 2, 3 kid eliminate Razor Ramon and Savio Vega.
Yeah, and I don't get why Sid did that, because it was a legitimate tag in as well. He literally tagged himself in. So
he did, yeah. So you see it on the replay.
He was the legal man.
The thing is, as well, what's weird about it is that he tagged himself in when the referee's back was turned.
Yes.
So he didn't even need to do that. He could have just come in the ring, hit Razor around the back of the head, and then drag the 1, 2, 3 kid over Razor Ramon for the pin. And he wouldn't have made any difference at all. Maybe he was just a stickler for the rules. I must tag in before I can enter the ring.
Sounds like Sid Vicious, yeah. Definitely.
It does, yeah. We're live, pal. Yeah. Magistrator replay, which we got straight after that elimination, where the King's drawing on the screen like an NFL analyst.
That did me. That I thought. To be honest, I thought that was genius. I thought it was brilliant. Where he was like, as you can see, the ref is distracted here and he's drawing the arrows, and then he's like, Razor's staggering over here and he's drawing a squiggly line, and I thought that is brilliant. That is funny.
Oh man, right. So back to the action. The 1, 2, 3 kid and Sid, they're double teaming Bart Gunn. Okay, and then eventually Sid tags in Owen. Owen misses with a massive big splash. Both him and Bart Gunn are down, and both men need to tag. Now, the detail here is Owen Hart lands almost right near Yokozuna and could probably just get the tag. But instead of this, this is what leads to the stupidity of this match. Right. Billy Gunn gets the tag in. So Bart Gunn makes the tag. It was barely a struggle. Billy Gunn comes in. He looks like Charles Robinson.
He does. He does.
He cleans house for a little while and then gets clipped by 1, 2, 3 kid. Yokozuna is now legal. And basically, Yokozuna's going up for his finisher and Billy Gunn's on the floor.
Correct.
Bart Gunn comes in, pulls Billy away, clips Owen, who falls in to place where Billy Gunn was. Yokozuna hits the bonsai drop on Owen Hart.
Yep.
Nobody realizes. And that's it. Then Owen Hart are eliminated. Owen Hart and Yokozuna are eliminated because of this.
Yeah. Owen Hart gets pinned. That's all.
Yeah, apparently there was a signal on the outside of the ring that Yokozuna was calling for timeout.
He was again completely ignored. You could see he was doing that. He was doing the T.
And I've written down here, not enough refs for this timeout bollocks.
I agree. It needed bit like they do in the NFL, where they got them a bit all over the pitch, haven't they?
Yeah.
It needed for it to. If you're going to go with this gimmick, do it properly. If you're going to go with this thing, have someone on the outside chucking the yellow flag in. They've called a timeout.
Like, think it through. They're clear. The worst thing about this is they've chucked together a bunch of like American football references, and they've not thought it through in the slightest. Like the timeout that was given as timeout was ignored anyway because Razor still hit 1, 2, 3 kid. Then the timeout that could have actually benefited somebody as a timeout and kept Owen and Yoko in the match wasn't even seen by the ref because he was too busy fucking around doing something else. Yep. And now we're down to 2 teams. So it's Billy Gunn, and so it's the Smoking Guns and Sid and 1, 2, 3 kid left. Here is a picture of Sid beating up Billy Gunn in the ring, looking absolutely confused about what this fucking match is.
Just like the rest of us.
Just like the rest. I mean, I was laughing like 2 minutes into this broadcast.
Yeah, I was.
Because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was just absolute insanity. Anyway. They were in Delaware.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, I'm in Delaware.
In Delaware.
If you've seen Wayne's World, you understand that reference, guys.
You'll get it.
Look, I'm in Delaware.
In Delaware.
I've written down here that the crowd are loving it.
They are. Yeah.
Sid turns Billy inside out with a clothesline. Billy kicks out at 2. Crowd go mental. Sid nails Billy with a big boot and a leg drop. And again, this looked like a 3 count as well. I thought the match was over, but apparently it wasn't. Everyone was confused because everyone was just silent. So Sid hit the Hogan big boot and leg drop, pins Billy Gunn 1, 2, and it sounded like 3. And then Vince goes, "No, it was 2!" And then the match just carries on.
I was 2!
Yeah. So he's probably shouted it so loud that the ref heard him.
It's also worth noting at this point that the comms and the chemistry between Vince and Lawler is dreadful.
It isn't great. And this was WWF's main commentary team as well, because obviously later on in the show where they showed that footage from In Your House, they're the commentary team there also.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think before this, Macho Man, before he went to WCW, I think Macho Man was doing Raw with Vince.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah. Now he's in the main event of Nitro. Good stuff. Billy Gunn goes in with a small package, 2 count. One thing I did notice during this match is Sid Vicious loves the overhand right. It was like his go-to move. So hold the head, club him with the right.
Yep.
All the way through the match. He then hits Billy Gunn with a chokeslam, doesn't bother covering him.
Yeah.
Ref distracted once again. 1, 2, 3 kid and Sid tried to cheat. 1, 2, 3 kid hits Sid with a terrible looking crossbody. Billy Gunn covers. Bart drags out 1, 2, 3 kid, and the Guns score the touchdown and win the first ever Raw Bowl. Touchdown! Touchdown!
Oh God!
You know, Razor
just came from. Well, Razor had come from nowhere as well, hadn't he?
Razor,
because he pushed. Yeah, he pushed 1, 2, 3 kid off the turnbuckle.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yes,
I was too distracted by everything that was going on. I didn't even see Razor.
Yeah, so because 1, 2, 3 kid took the pin, didn't he? Am I right in saying that?
Sid took the pin. Sid took the pin, but 1, 2, 3 kid came off the ropes, so that's why the crossbody looked terrible. So Razor pushed 1, 2, 3 kid off.
So Razor came from nowhere. Bear in mind, they've already been eliminated.
Yeah.
In fact, weren't they the first ones gone?
First one's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were gone. But there was no cut into. Oh, look, it's and he's come down and he pushes 1, 2, 3 kid off the turnbuckle, lands on Sid. Blah.
Yeah.
They get the win.
And Vince, who's been holding on to the touchdown comms the entire match.
Yeah.
Was delighted to say at the end of the match when the Smoking Guns won.
Yeah, and they were going to be getting the Vince Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, well, they said the Lombardi trophy, didn't they? And then we find out later on what this is.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, what an interesting opening match. Went on for way too long.
I thought that. I mean, it had about 4 ad breaks, which luckily when you're watching on the network, it just fades out and fades back in. So that's not terrible. But yeah, it went on for way too long. They're 45-minute episodes, and this was half the show.
Yeah,
easily half the show was this match.
Yeah, and I was thinking at this point, how are they going to cram anything else in? Because they're still advertising the Nacho Man and the Huckster and Billionaire Ted, right? It's Diesel versus Mabel in the main event.
Yeah.
And then they cut to this. The halftime report with Dandy, Doc.
The Wrigley's halftime report. Oh my God.
Yeah, with Dandy Doc Hendricks is what he called himself.
Yes.
Obviously, it's Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
He used to be called Doc Hendricks back in WWF. And so basically, he ran through what was coming at the Royal Rumble. So we're going to have Bret Hart defending the WWF Championship against The Undertaker. Yeah. And we've also got this enormous match coming up at the Royal Rumble, which is Ahmed Johnson versus Jeff Jarrett. And it cut to a clip of Jeff Jarrett walloping Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, before concussion protocols.
Yeah, before concussion protocol. It also cut to Jumbo Jim in the back, which is Jim Ross.
Looking very well. Looking well.
Looking really well. Looking super healthy. I mean, this was many, many moons ago now. So he was stood outside of a dressing room, didn't interview anybody, and said that he'd spoken with Diesel.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was the end of that.
And that was the long and short of it. We also got a run through of an explanation of the Royal Rumble.
Yes, we did. We needed the rules because we didn't know at this point.
We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the Royal Rumble had only been going for what, 12 years at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Something like that. But we needed the rules.
Yeah.
And later on we've got a bombshell announcement. Ooh.
Can't wait.
Somebody who's going to be entering the Royal Rumble. It's somebody who's never been in the WWF before. All the suspense. It's killing me. I can't wait to find out who it is.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Jesus. Right. And this is something I don't get about. Have they not got enough talent to put on a full show of wrestling? Because they then begin to show this hog pen match from In Your House, like that I think took place in December. So the hog pen match is between Henry O. Godwin, because his initials are Hog, and HHH. So this is the initials match.
Yes, clearly, yeah.
And so they showed this match in pretty much this whole match, but like with ad breaks separating it. 2 ad breaks separated it, in fact. So that's how much of this match they showed. And to be honest, it was rubbish.
It was bloody awful. It was absolutely really terrible. Bad. It was just. But do you know what? What dawned on me was there was spots in this match, and I thought to myself, Vince would still do this now.
Yeah, like for example, the ring announcer getting slopped.
Yeah, covered in slop, which also covered the front row of the crowd.
Yeah, what is slop? What's in it?
I don't know. Is it like kind of leftover food that pigs eat? I don't know.
It's probably awful. It's probably Heinz Big Soup. Because I don't know if you noticed or not, but the ring announcer in question, who was on the floor after being covered in slop, was Tony Chimmel.
I didn't notice.
Vince was like, I hope that young man's okay.
And you could tell that it wasn't just like, oh, we'll make up something that looks like slop but actually isn't, because there was a very almost like fourth wall breaking moment where they were like, "Oh, that really does smell." I think it was actual slop that they used. And so when the ring announcer got covered in it, it also went over people in the front row because they're just behind, the barriers.
There's no real care for the paying audience there at all, was there?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And then Triple H gets tied up in the ropes. Godwin gets the slop bucket and a handful of slop and rubs it in Triple H's face. Well, it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley at this point, but I'm still going to call him Triple H because it was HLG. And he got a face full of slop. I'd be fuming.
Yeah,
I'd be really.
Welcome to the business, kid.
Welcome to the business. Triple H at this point, it's worth noting, is undefeated.
Yeah. And in great shape. I mean, he always has been. I'm not saying, you know what I mean?
Well, he's lean. He's real lean.
He's very lean. Very, very lean. You wouldn't, looking at that iteration of him, you wouldn't think he'd probably go on to do what he's done.
No. Yeah. His music is unbelievable.
Oh, geez.
Not as unbelievable as Henry Godwin's music.
We had Hillbilly Jim was the special guest referee in this as well.
Why? Because it's obvious when the way you won the match was you get if you drop your opponent into the hog pen.
Which is kind of near the entrance. Yeah,
it's near the entrance. And at one point they go fighting towards the pen, and you think, "Oh, okay, this is going to end here." Then they go back to the ring.
Go back in. Go back in the ring. You're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So after Triple H gets covered in slop, he mounts a comeback and hits a very nice swinging neck breaker. I thought that was really good. Like the one bit of the one of not many bits of wrestling that were actually in this match.
Yeah, and I think that is notable throughout this whole episode is that there doesn't feel like there's a lot of actual wrestling.
No, and the main event encapsulates this as well.
Well, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. But yeah, we'll get to that.
The thing is, I'm not actually sure who this is aimed at. Like, who is wanting to watch this?
No, I don't know.
I mean, it's funny for us now, but if you're watching this in 1996 and eating it up, maybe
clearly you only had to look at some of the people in the crowd, and they were buzzing.
They were buzzing.
I mean, especially when Diesel came out later on.
Oh my god,
they were loving it. They were absolutely loving it.
Oh god, they were absolutely loving it. So after Triple H hits this neck breaker, it goes to a break. Before the break, it shows the Huckster asleep. Every time Vince said the Nacho Man, the King went, "The Nacho Man," and then and the Huckster, the what? The who? It's like, okay, we get it. All right.
Yeah, we get it.
All the way through this match as well, the King kept making jokes about Arkansas. Do you notice this?
Yes, I think in my notes I have put something about that. Yeah, the King's comms are bloody awful, is what I've written.
Yeah, if something like if you've got a deer decoration on your Christmas tree, you're from wherever Arkansas. Yeah.
If you've got a son over the age of 2 and he's only got one tooth, you're from Arkansas.
Yeah, there was like 3 of these jokes in a row, and it was like, okay, we understood the first time. You think the place is a shithole.
Yeah, get it. Awful.
Triple H gets thrown over the ropes and kicks a cameraman. That's a note that I made.
Yes, yeah, I noticed that. It's like a Pele kick that he didn't.
Almost like a Pele kick, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it cut to another break, but before it was there was like a Slim Jim advert, but for Nacho Man.
Yeah.
So the Nacho Man like bit something, broke his tooth, and then said, "If you want to be excited, keep watching the WWF."
Yeah.
He was wrong.
He was very wrong.
Yeah. Did you see Triple H try and do the pedigree like he was trying to do it into the pen? which made no sense at all because he was stood like in front of, there was no logical way that he was ever going to be able to do it. And it was so obvious that Godwin was going to try and back body drop him into the pen.
Well, I did wonder what he was doing, because it's like, well, you're outside, it's not a pinfall. You've got to get your guy in the slop.
Yeah, and that's not how the pedigree works.
No, unless he was intending on pedigreeing him, picking him up and throwing him in.
I mean, maybe, but he was stood way too close to the pen. Like, Godwin's legs wouldn't have even stretched that far.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, Godwin hits the slop drop right next to the pen. So you think, okay. He's going to pick him up. He's going to pick Triple H up, throw him in the pen, and it's over. But instead of this, he goes in for like a running tackle, which Triple H reverses, back body drop. Henry Godwin's in the slop with actual pigs in as well. I didn't even notice the pigs until the end.
Yeah, actual pigs.
Yeah, real life pigs. There was no... Why? Like, we understood what it was. You didn't need to put actual pigs in there. Anyway, actual pigs were in there. And...
Crazy.
And Triple H has won. And Triple H's music's playing. Yeah.
Lovely music.
Post-match, Triple H gets thrown into the slop because that was always going to happen. Henry Godwin was literally like gorilla pressing him as well. It was like good strength for someone who's
great strength.
Good.
Yeah.
And then he gets body slammed in the slop as well. Triple H does, while the Godwin's bloody banjo music is playing in the background. Jesus, man, what a fucking awful match!
It was terrible, and again, way too long.
Yeah, way too long.
Just needed highlights. That's all it needed.
For a match that had barely any wrestling in it.
Yeah. There was nothing.
It was unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it was.
Absolute. So I don't know why WWF at this point haven't got enough to fill an entire Raw instead of having to sort of rerun In Your House from December.
Yeah, it's strange that.
Because they advertised the same for next week as well.
Yeah.
So next week they're going to show Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog from In Your House for the WWF title. And they've like,
we'll have some actual wrestling in it.
It might have some actual wrestling. They said it's not for the faint of heart as well.
Is that just a little play on words?
Oh, maybe. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Next week on Raw also is Hakushi is taking on Double J.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's main event time. And it's, I feel sorry for these 4 guys having to carry King Mabel down to the ring. There's King Mabel. Look how moody he is.
Okay, nice sunglasses.
Really good sunglasses. So Mabel's coming out. He was king of the ring the previous year. So he's being carried out. WWF obviously still running with a king gimmick even at this point. And still doing it now, which is so shit. It's unreal. So these 4 poor bastards having to carry Mabel. If you know anything about Mabel, not a small bloke.
No, he's not quite Yokozuna, but he's also not, he's not Hornswoggle, is he?
No, he's just big.
He's a big guy.
He's a big lad. And then everybody marks out for Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Oh my God.
That everyone's got their black gloves on. Didn't know until this episode of Raw that signaled that you were a Diesel fan.
No, I didn't know that either.
Just like Diesel merch is black biker gloves.
Yeah. I mean, the notes that I made were that what a sexy cool motherfucker.
Yeah. He's got a big future ahead of him in WWF. There's no way that he would defect to anywhere else in the same year that this has got all going on.
No, not at all.
Definitely not. No way. Absolutely not. I was thinking, these are 2 main event stars. This could be pretty good. This is the main event on Raw. This is what people have come to see.
Mm.
The match is pretty much over before it begins. So
Yeah.
Diesel clatters Mabel, Irish whips him, big boot, and that's it. One, two, three.
I don't even think the bell didn't even ring, did it?
I think it did, but after Diesel clattered Mabel the first time.
Okay, yeah.
Diesel didn't even take his jacket off, like his waistcoat.
Well, he don't have to, does he?
Well, no. I mean, he made light work of the previous year's King of the Ring.
Yeah.
So after that, Mo is there as well. Mo from Men on a Mission. He gets a jackknife powerbomb for his trouble. Diesel does some posing in the ring. Steals Miss Raw Bowl from Jerry the King Lawler and goes backstage to pump her full of Diesel. Probably.
I mean, he had that smirk, didn't he, at the top of the ramp? Like, yeah, I'm gonna smash you.
They'd made out as well that he'd never spoken.
That what? Sorry,
that he'd never said words, because like the King was like gonna ask him to say something. Like he had a microphone, and Vince was like, "Oh, we're gonna hear Diesel speak for the first time," or something like that.
Yeah,
and the King goes to shake hands with him, but Diesel like glides the hand through his hair, like just the coolest person on earth. And if you're watching Raw in 1996, Diesel probably is the coolest person on earth.
This is what crossed my mind. I was thinking about 96, January 96. I'd have been 10, nearly, coming up to 11. And if I'd have seen Diesel walking off with Miss Raw Bowl like that, he'd have instantly been my hero. Instantly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, Diesel squashed Mabel in literally 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So going back to the beginning of Raw, the Smoking Guns won the Raw Bowl and were going to be presented with the Lombardi Trophy.
Correct.
Cuts to a backstage segment, and the Lombardi Trophy is Steve Lombardi.
Amazing.
AKA the Brooklyn Brawler. Charles Robinson in this picture here accepting the Steve Lombardi Trophy. Look at the picture of the Brooklyn
It's so funny. But again, as a backstage segment, it was terrible because you couldn't hear what they were saying.
No.
Vince was just talking over the top of it.
Yeah.
And it was almost as if they were like, look, we're running out of time. You've got 30 seconds to accept this trophy and then smash it on the ground and then beat the shit out of the Brooklyn Brawler.
And cover him in beer.
And they did all of that in about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was just, again, I mean, the trophy thing was funny. That was funny.
Yeah. I mean, when they were talking about the Lombardi Trophy, I was like, do they mean Steve? And it turns out they did, and it was great. And
yeah,
that was genuinely funny.
Yeah, it was.
But the whole segment, like you said, was fucking terrible and rushed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we cut to the bit. Vince has clearly been waiting for this the entire show because this closed the show, literally closed the show. And it's the Billionaire Ted Wrestling War Room.
We've got a bit before that, haven't we?
Oh, have we? Oh,
yes.
So, yeah, go on, you lead in with this.
Well, so we've heard throughout the night that there is a surprise entrant at this year's Royal Rumble. So in the halftime report, we already saw a host of names that were going to be in the Royal Rumble. Some of them I forget now, but we got a good, a good 10, 12 names.
Yeah.
And then later on, you're going to reveal a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. And at this point, after the Steve Lombardi Trophy backstage segment, we then get a vignette which can only be described as one of the worst montages I've ever seen in my life.
But also one of the best.
But also one of the funniest and one of the best. On the backdrop of some of the most generic mid-90s guitar shredding, and it's Vader.
Yeah,
Vader's
Vader.
going to be in the Royal Rumble, and you know what? I mean, we always say it now. We say it now anyway about whatever you think about WWE at the moment, their production in terms of vignettes and original shows are amazing. And oh my god, in comparison to this, like the vignettes these days are like Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
This was it was just bloody awful.
It was amazing. It was like shots from Vader lifting weights in the
Vader,
gym,
yeah.
and then him like standing in a field doing like his signature poses.
Oh god, it was just I was watching it thinking, is this the big reveal? It's like, but I suppose it's because we're so used to now being like, this person's coming next week or this person's coming soon, and there's a full on vignette, there's a still photo of them and the logo and everything, and this was just Vader in a field going looking massive, and he's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
And to be fair, this would have actually been quite a big deal, Vader going to the WWF at this point. Yeah. So it was really bad. Like it was and terrible. Vader at this point must be thinking, after watching the Raw Bowl, Vader's probably there thinking, shit.
How do I get out of this?
Yeah, can I just stay with WCW or stay wrestling in Japan or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, Vader's on his way. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Vader had banging music in WWF.
Yeah, really cool.
Really cool.
Was it as good as the music that accompanied the vignette?
I don't think it was ever as good as that, but yeah, oh my god. Okay, so this was the main segment of Raw. And this is what Vince had been waiting for the entire show, been hyping it up since the beginning with the Nacho Man and the Huckster and Scheme Gene.
Billionaire Ted. This closed Raw.
This closed Raw, yeah. And so here we go. So it's the Billionaire Ted Wrestling War Room. So during this segment, we've got the guys around the table, of which included Vince Russo. There he is.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, Hulk, bro, can you do this?
bro,
can you do this move? And it's like Ahmed Johnson doing a power bomb or something,
yeah.
and like Diesel doing the jackknife. How can you do that? Oh no, my bones are too brittle.
My bones are too brittle.
There's the Huckster. my bones are too brittle. I can't do it. And they're like, well, what can you do? And like Scheme Gene's there as well. I've got a picture of Scheme Gene. Here we go. Looks like Dr. Phil. It's fucking unbelievable. It's so good. And there's Billionaire Ted, of course, as well.
Look at that. It's the fake moustache got me.
The hair's absolutely amazing.
The hair's incredible.
And basically, they start like when they're asked what they can do, they start doing their poses.
Yeah.
Like Hogan's doing their ear cupping, and Savage is doing whatever he used to do, and it cuts out. And it says, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
New tricks. Brilliant.
WWF, the new generation, on top of the hill, not over it.
Oh.
And I was losing my mind at this point.
I was just, yeah. It was when they said, well, Nacho Man, can you do this? And I think it was Shawn Michaels maybe doing like a frog splash or something, or jumping off the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, can't do that. I'm too old. And all this. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, you see on WCW, right, on Nitro, they're basically like, there's rubbish stuff going on the other channel, and they're actually correct.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
No, they're 100% correct. There is, I mean, this is this is really bad. Like, we're going to carry on watching this, right? And I mean, it has to get better. It will get better. Maybe not in 1996.
No,
but it'll
because
get
isn't
better.
this? I mean, isn't this as well? Isn't 96 that's WrestleMania 12?
12, yeah.
Which
so we get Brett versus Shawn.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's not the.
It's the Iron Man match,
obviously. Yeah, it's the Iron Man match. Yeah,
the Iron Man match. Yeah, the you thinking the screw job?
No, I'm thinking of the one where Yokozuna lost the belt to Hogan, but obviously it can't be
that's
that
WrestleMania
because
9.
obviously, I was going to say that's 9, isn't it? But yeah, it can't be that because obviously Hogan's not in it and they're taking the mick out of him. Clearly, the huckster.
The huckster, yeah. So WWF on top of the hill, not over it.
Yeah,
I would beg to differ after this show.
Oh my word! Oh my word!
The first and last Raw Bowl.
Yeah,
never had it again for good reason.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
the whole thing. I mean that match was just. Oh, I don't know. I almost, because I watched it this morning, in preparation for this, and laughing pretty much all the way throughout. And it was that bad that I thought, you know what? I've got to watch it again to make sure. Was it actually that bad? I didn't watch it again. I didn't get a chance to. But seriously, if you want to see a bad tag match, that's the one.
Absolutely, yeah. It just didn't work. The rules were convoluted and made no sense at all. The NFL references were rubbish and didn't make any sense at all. And it was just a really terrible start to 1996 for the WWF. Now, WCW's been putting out some good, if not mental shows to start 1996. And I've covered so far episode 1, 2, and 3 of Nitro. So, Steve, if you watch episode 4 and 5 of Nitro and join me for Nitrous Radio going forward as well, you get to be on this shitty journey with me.
That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. I'll do that.
So, what we're going to do with this, we're going to do this every other week. So we're going to do, we're going to basically run them opposite each other. So next week, we'll do Nitrous Radio episode 3, where we'll cover episode 4 and 5 of WCW. And then we'll do another episode of the other channel, which is this podcast about the WWF. Or what we might have to do is catch up. So maybe if we do another episode of this next week and then do Nitrous Radio the week after, so they're running alongside each other properly.
That makes sense. Yeah, we could do that.
Do that. And then when we've got them in line with one another, we'll do that way.
Yeah, at least we've got a better comparison then.
Yeah. Okay. So next week then we'll have another episode of this podcast, the other channel.
Yep.
Then the week after that, we'll do Nitrous Radio.
Yep, that sounds good.
So, at the beginning of the year, we promised you more podcasts, we promised you more content, and here we are. Here we are, giving you all of the solid content, watching shit WWF from 1996.
I mean, the only saving grace, when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, at least, there is some real talent on the roster. You got Brett, Undertaker, Bulldog, Owen Hart, obviously, and you're not too far away from the likes of Austin, Rock, all of that. You're not that far away, but
we're gonna have to get through some shit to get there, aren't we?
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to. It's gonna be tough. I'm just glad they're only 45-minute episodes.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I still think it's hilarious that they've got all that talent on there and they still have to shoehorn in a match from In Your House.
Yeah, a hog pen match.
Hog pen. Well, at least next week we get Bulldog versus Brett, so that's good.
Yeah, hopefully we see a bit of a clinic.
I hope so. Right, this has been episode 1 of the other channel, a Games and Graps podcast. Go check out the Games and Graps podcast on social media. That's at Games and Graps on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Games and Graps for weekly streams of all different types of video games. And check out the main podcast, which we're going to be doing every other week as well on all podcast services everywhere.
Everywhere.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We'll be back next week with another episode of the other channel. My name is Sonny G, and I've been with Steve.
Good evening.
And we'll see you next week. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.